So, well, we knew each other actually. Undergrad is where we first met at university. We were in the same class actually, and this is one of the reasons, I think, first of all, I was very attracted to you is because it was a class that was mandatory attendance, but I took that a bit lightly. But Betty would actually sign me into this class.
Go into every class.
Yeah, of course. Nerd.
Yeah, so we knew each other, and I would sign him into class, and the days that he did come, we kind of sat near the back, and he was always cracking jokes and kind of making the most of what was a really, like a 3 or 4 hour class. I remember it would just fly by because Phil was so charming and just making me laugh nonstop. So of course I had to sign him into class. I didn't mind. I just liked being around him.
It's good. We know how to have a fun time together. You know, keep things light.
Yeah. But we didn't date. We didn't date in college. That started after. So we were just friends. We were acquaintances at that point. So what I thought of Phil was that he was very charming, he was very funny. He had this gift of making everyone around him laugh, kind of captivating. I thought he was kind of a badass too, because
total badass, yeah.
I would ask him what he was doing when he wasn't in class. I would say, like, you know, oh man, of course I'll sign you in. Like, well, what are you doing? One day he was setting off fireworks in Mad Bull, and I just thought, man, this guy's so cool. Like, he just oozes cool.
Seemed like the better option than going to class. I mean, there were frequently other, not pressing matters, but of infrequently important things that would come up, and I'd choose that over class. But nonetheless, yeah. Well, Betty, oh man, she struck me. One, of course, just your beauty, first of all. I was taken aback, but I was really kind of grounded by how intelligent and wise you were. I mean, when we first met, we would have a lot of small talk, but I think that's more when we started talking romantically, where you really upped the game there, or I just getting to know you more. I was really impressed. You're just amazing. I think that was kind of interesting because there's this horse race that a lot of students and alumni will go to from our university, and I was 2 years out of college, Betty was a year out, and one of my friends, Brian Barbado, happened to be passing through from Virginia Beach. He was going through Richmond on the way to Charlottesville, and I wasn't really planning on going too much, but he wanted to stop and take a break at my place on the way driving through, and convinced me to go, and it was definitely one of the most fortuitous decisions I made shorthandedly. So.
Yeah, and I was in the same boat. I wasn't thinking about going. I was living in New York at the time, and my friend Mel figured out a way to get us a ride down, and so it was easy, and I thought, why not? And so that's when we ran into each other at a friend's party, and I hadn't seen Phil in a couple of years, and there was definitely a spark. I was excited and not expecting to see him at all, but we started hit it off. We started talking, and that night we stayed up all night talking. We were at a party, and both of our kind of sleeping arrangements fell through, so we didn't have a place to sleep. There was no place on the floor. Like, there were people in every nook and cranny of this house, so we stayed up all night talking in the kitchen, and that's when I knew it was, you know, something special. I just loved catching up with you. Yeah,
just how easy it was to spend the whole night talking with you really took me back. Took me by surprise. It was amazing. It's also when we had our first kiss too.
Yeah.
That same night as well.
You really took me by surprise. We were in the kitchen talking, and we were talking about something completely random, no idea what, and then he just out of the blue, he was like, I really want to kiss you right now. And I was speechless. I had nothing to say. I was completely just dumbfounded, and I didn't know what to say, and I guess he took that as a yes. So he kind of bridged the gap. He stepped forward. We were like on opposite sides of the kitchen, and he stepped forward and kissed me, and it was amazing. It was electric.
It really was. Still is.
Still is.
I said this first, of course, you know, kind of primal, masculine, predatory pounce, seeing the opportunity. No, this was, so we'd been dating long distance, and I flew out to LA to see Betty. We had a big adventure planned. We were going to go whitewater rafting up north of Sacramento, and we were going to do some camping, get to see LA, the city itself, for a little bit. And it was the first day I'd gotten there. She picked me up from LAX. We went to this brewery, Venice Ale House, I guess a tap house. And the conversation, I mean, it always picks up so easily. And, you know, you feel that in the distance, like the conversation, but when you're actually there, and I could, you know, see her emotions and not just read it from her intonations. And I felt it. The sun was setting, and of course, beautiful, just breathtaking as ever. And I saw the opportunity. We were holding each other on the beach, and just opened my heart. Let her know.
It was beautiful too, because I was so taken by surprise, because he didn't skip a beat. Like, his plane had just landed, and we hadn't seen each other in like 2 months. So I was definitely nervous, and I'd never been in love before. I never told anyone that I loved them. So once again, I was just completely speechless, and as Phil does, he surprised me in the best way. And I felt love for you then, but I was too scared to say. I was too scared.
No, that's fine.
But I do love you. I'll tell you every day.
I felt it.
Yeah. I knew Phil was the one for me in a lot of different settings, a lot of small ways, but one moment that stood out was when he came to visit me in New York. It was his last night there, and we decided to go up to the top of the Empire State Building. I had never been, even though I lived there for a year. I'd always tried to get my friends to go. No one wanted to because it was too touristy. But I seized the opportunity with Phil, and we went up at midnight, and it was his last night. He was leaving the next day, and I was so emotional looking at the city, and I was thinking about our relationship, thinking that a long distance relationship could never work. So I was kind of mourning the loss already of, like, will I ever find someone like this, you know?
And I didn't realize that's what you were crying about. And this was something that really probably was foundational for my love for you as well, was in that moment you were looking out over the city, and I was kind of holding you, and I could see, you know, the tears welling in your eyes, and I thought it was just you cherished that moment and that experience, and like being so present. I loved that about you. I thought that was amazing. And you're right, it's true. It's grown. It's not some static moment. It's kind of been a dynamic, organic growth. I'm thankful for each moment with you. Ooh. Okay. The proposal. Well, both being kind of appreciative of the outdoors and natural beauty, it was around the holidays, and I thought it'd be good for us to kind of get away for New Year's, actually. Around Christmas time, I'd of course gone through the little bit nail-biting experience of asking your father for your hand. That went smoothly. Love your dad. And yeah, so we went up to Santa Barbara, and we stayed at a nice resort, because I knew Betty could get a little relaxation at the spa at the Bacara. And then also I wanted to do a sunset proposal on the beach, kind of similar to here. And we brought out a bottle of wine, and I kind of eyed out a little spot, a little rock in front of a cliff face, and again, just kind of like bore my soul a little bit and let her know how much she meant to me. But I guess in the experience, it was so nerve-wracking that I actually forgot to explicitly
ask. He did not. I'll never let him down. But he was pouring his heart out. He was on one knee, and then he starts putting the ring on my finger, and I was like, hey, you're supposed to ask.
I saw the yes in your tears and your smile and your face, but yes, I didn't even.
So yeah, so he asked me about like 100 more times that night, but it's something that I find really endearing because he was so nervous he actually forgot to ask. Phil, if you're watching this, we're happily married. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you. We've had an awesome 6 years full of so much love and happiness, and I can't wait to share the rest with you. I want to start a family with you. I want to help you become a better person, just like you help me become a better person every day. And I love you so much. Cheers to many more years of happiness and love.
So Betty, I'm sure you look beautiful. Imagining it now, I cannot wait to see. But what more can I tell you in this moment than just how much I love you. I love who you are. I'm so thankful for who you are. I love your spirituality. I love your intelligence. I love your elegance. Just thank you for being you, and that who you are kind of cultivates in me this non-rational desire, like zest for life and to love and to live because of who you are. You're amazing. So thank you for all that you are. I love you.
So to our guests, we just want to say thank you so much for coming. I know we have people from all across the country, across the world who are coming to celebrate with us, and we're so glad you're here. It's really important to us to be surrounded by our friends and family on this really special day, and we hope to share that same kind of support with all of you for the rest of our lives as a married couple. So thank you so much for being here. We're so happy.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much. I mean, just being around family and friends, because that's us coming out to our community and letting you guys know that, how deep and real our love is. So thank you for being here and supporting us.